From Eyewitness News, this is Newsmakers.
It's shaping up to be a big year at the State House for municipal unions. They're poised to pass a long-sought bill mandating overtime for firefighters who work more than 42 hours and another measure to keep existing union contracts in place indefinitely. Public sector workers say it's a simple matter of fairness, but mayors and town administrators say it will force them to raise your property taxes. This week on Newsmakers, two views on the labor legislation with NEARI Executive Director Robert Walsh and Cranston Mayor Allan Fung. Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. Joining me on the program, as always, Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nesi, Cranston Mayor Allan Fung, and Executive Director for NEA Rhode Island, Bob Walsh. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. Good to have you both back.
Pleasure to be here.
On a non-election year.
You got the boxing gloves on already.
Don't worry. In an election year somewhere.
That's right, exactly.
Perpetually an election year. All right, let's start with you, Bob. The House this week passed a bill that would extend union contracts on their current terms when they expire during negotiations. The bill is now being considered in the Senate. Bob, why do you support the legislation?
I can go through the history very quickly of this. In the late 60s, we got collective bargaining legislation for public sector employees passed in multiple categories: teachers, municipal employees, police and fire. When they passed that legislation, police officers and firefighters had binding arbitration as their ultimate contract resolution system because it was felt that you should never be without an active contract for police and firefighters. For the teachers and the municipal employees, it only went halfway. It was binding on the non-financial issues and not binding on the financial issues. And from that point in time until about a decade ago, the court law and the practice was always the contract continued as the parties continued talking. Most contracts settled before their expiration date, some did not. And about a decade ago in East Providence, that system was tested by their attorneys and their then school committee and said, what happens if we go through the process and we don't like the non-binding answer an arbitrator has given us? Basically, they don't wanted to reject the advice of the arbitrator. When that situation had occurred previously, they kept talking until they got a deal. In this case, they imposed a deal upon these Providence teachers and they changed the rules. Subsequent to that, a similar situation happened in Warwick. So for years, we always wanted binding arbitration for teachers and support professionals in schools and municipal employees, just like police and fire have. And we still do, but this is not that bill. What this bill does is says it worked to have the contracts continue for 40 years, we want to go back to that status and have the contracts continue in the same way. 2 years ago, we had that legislation passed in the House and the Senate. The governor chose to veto that legislation. She did not like the version that was passed. We have listened very closely to what was in the veto message. We modified the legislation appropriately. It's much more clear-cut, much more definitive, and has exceptions. If there's a no layoff provision, that does not continue, so Mayor Fung would not be hampered from reducing staff in a recessionary period, or if it was required because of a decline in enrollment on the school side, for instance. And it only applies to wages and benefits, which is, you know, the bread and butter of negotiations.
All right, Mayor, well, that all sounds well and good, but you oppose it. Why?
Yeah, absolutely. Along with, and this isn't a Democratic or Republican issue, every single mayor is opposed to this contract continuation bill. There was unanimous executive vote.
Mayor Fung let you go through yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let Mayor
because
Fung
I
do
can
his opening
jump in.
statement.
Because quite honestly, you know, at the League of Cities and Towns, it is a big concern, especially amongst that executive board that took the vote, and it was unanimous vote, because you are tying the hands because of two instances that have happened over time. You're going to tie the hands of 37 other cities and towns, force us to raise property taxes, because this is nothing more than a lifetime contract bill. And you know, Bob hit the nail right on the head. You're living with the wages and financial conditions of those contracts that have been locked in for years without the ability to change them, except at the negotiation table. What happens during those periods of recessions when the unions don't want to give up additional health care, don't want to talk about pension benefits, don't want to talk about retiree and give back some of those dollars, and just you're forced into living with those legacies that have been crushing cities and towns for years. We already have the 6th highest property taxes in the country. Bob, in this bill, what are you going to put us to number one? Is that the number one that you want us in?
I am always surprised by the changing arguments against
There's
this
no
legislation.
changing
The
arguments.
arguments have changed over the years, because it used to be the argument against binding arbitration was we can't let an outsider settle, we have to settle at the table. So this means we have legislation that says the parties still have to settle at the table and say we can't do that. So what we're talking about is continuing a contract that in your case, Mayor, you probably did negotiate because you've been mayor long enough to have negotiated all the contracts.
Oh, yes, sir.
So you get to continue without giving raises, a contract that was already there. The vast majority of the pension plans that are impacted by this, you can't change through negotiations
Yes, we
because
can.
they're run by the
Oh,
state.
let me correct
I
you
said
there.
the vast majority
Let me
of
correct-
pension plans that are affected
Yes,
by
you
this.
can, Bob.
are-
You know that. I've done it twice with
The-
our Teamsters, with our
the-
laborers.
the-
We've gotten them out
the-
of that state,
right.
that
And you
costly
negotiated
state
it.
pension.
And you
Yes, I
negotiated
did.
it without having to impose
And
it
we've
upon
been
them.
able to get it,
Right.
and we've been able to
And
get
the
it
vast
done.
majority, because this is both
Bob,
the
will
teacher
you-
side
now let me
and the
talk
other
to you.
side.
If we're sitting there in a period of recession, will you sit there and take a look at my request and say, let's move out of this costly
And
plan
this is-
towards a defined
as we did
contribution?
for the
Towards a
40
defined contribution
No,
plan.
we're against defined contribution
Okay, then.
plans
You're
anyway.
proving my point.
And-
'Cause
and-
you're gonna
but
sit
you've
on
already
that
done it.
financial
You've
term.
And you've moved them into union pension plans. Every teacher in the state is in the state system. The vast
Yes.
majority of folks affected
Yeah.
by this are teachers. Every
But this goes
education-
beyond teachers. This
Right.
goes into
Education-
municipal
the
workers
next
as well.
The next biggest list of municipal workers are education support professionals in
Yep.
schools, also in the state pension system. Most of the municipal employees are in the state pension system, and you've negotiated their stuff because you know how it works. You push down the balloon here, it comes up here, and in negotiations, if the contract continues without a raise, you're going to the table and said, I can still lay people off, you haven't gotten a raise, and if it goes 1, 2, or 3 years, and they're not getting raises, and everybody else is, they're falling further and further behind.
Bob,
So it's
you know,
a disingenuous argument
no,
to
it's
say
not. The
it's
layoffs are a
if
disingenuous
you're
argument because
saying-
I've had to go through layoffs
Yeah,
during
we
those
all
tough times,
have.
and
We
they're
all have.
horrible.
Okay.
You're
Bob,
cutting back on services. You want to send a pink slip to little Emily's teacher, who, by the way, most of the times it's the young college grads that are coming out because of the seniority provisions, the bumping that goes on. It creates a nightmare on the municipal side. What do you want to do? Start closing down libraries? Start, laying off that social worker who's helping grandma
You're
with her
making-
Medicaid benefits?
Hang on one
You're
second.
making the
Isn't
argument why we should
on the
settle.
layoff provision, isn't the mayor right on that? That it's the teachers that are in the first 3 years of their job that are ones that are going to get cut, not the ones that are tenured.
No, it could be the teachers in their first 20 years of the job if they're the least senior person, but that's...
It's all based on seniority.
The most
but
senior
that's
person are the ones that make the
independent
most
of-
amount of money, right?
Yeah, of course they are. I
Okay.
mean, generally speaking.
Because of the step system that works and
Well,
things
not
like
only
that.
for teachers, but for most employment systems, the longer you're there, generally you're going to make more money. But to the extent that there are no
I'm
layoff
right. He kind of
provisions...
slows down
Oh,
on
no,
his
well, I
pace.
can speed up again if you want.
Yeah, because here we go. Here we go. Let me speed up.
Okay,
I'm gonna speed
hang
up
on,
again.
hang on.
Let me
hang on.
We got to go to commercial.
Almost.
Let me ask you, Bob, why would, to the mayor's point and what we've been hearing in this debate, what would be the incentive for the unions to give concessions in the contracts if you always have in your back pocket that you can just stick with your old contract? Wouldn't the mayors and municipal leaders have a lot more trouble ever convincing you guys to do givebacks if they needed it?
If you went to the membership and said, well, first of all, it's illegal. It's an unfair labor practice not to negotiate in good faith.
But wouldn't the-
I agree with you there,
and the
so don't
folks
worry.
testifying on the mayor's behalf, they slowed down when they talked about that in testimony when they said, oh, well, they'll just never negotiate. We have to negotiate. If we don't negotiate, you bring us before the labor board, and we get forced to negotiate.
Okay.
But we have 40 years of history where this worked. And the mayor's correct. This only happened the wrong way in a couple of places, East Providence, Warwick, but it was threatened in other places because a lawyer, and the mayor is a lawyer, advised their clients, well, you can take the East Providence route and try and shove something down their throats. Now, a good lawyer, and I think the mayor's a good lawyer because he was a good mayor in this regard, would never do it because they know the detrimental impact it has. But a few of them do. I mean, look at the prior leadership in the town of East Greenwich where I live. They were problematic, to say the least. And if negotiations had come up under that regime, now fortunately the voters knocked them all out of office, that would have been a problem.
Bob,
Go ahead, Nate.
each city and town has to take a look at the financial situation that they're encountering, and they have to have that flexibility to manage their organization. We hear it all the time from up at the State House. Oh, you don't manage your budgets. You don't do this. Well, what's most important is during those recessionary times, when I first came into office, you needed the flexibility to make whatever changes you can. If you can't get the concessions, then you have to go that drastic layoff route. But each time these bills are getting forced down our throats, it ties our hands behind our back and doesn't give us any leverage to make changes.
Let me ask before you jump in, Bob, Mayor, what you hear, as you heard from Bob, and I'm always hearing from his side on this, is this was practice in Rhode Island all those years before the East Providence decision, and this goes back to what was basically the status quo. Do you accept that this takes us back to the pattern before EP, and was that problematic in your view?
Well, here's what the mayors can agree upon. And this is one of the things. They keep saying, oh, we don't come to the table. One of the language that we presented to many of the legislators, look, if you want to codify the existing practice, here's how it should be. So long as both sides agree to a continuation of the contract while negotiations are going on, that's fine for a temporary period. That's not what this bill does. It basically continues it on in perpetuity, especially those financial factors. And that's where there is a difference between what's been happening for the past couple of years, and it shouldn't go down this path because of those two instances that Bob cited.
This is like you're going to buy a car and you're saying, well, we're going to negotiate until I and the management side are done negotiated, then we're going to force you to buy the car for 20 grand. You say, wait a second.
No, it's
all
not,
we're
Bob.
saying is we're going to keep driving the old car until we can reach a deal on the new car.
Yeah,
and that's
but when
all
you
we're
can't,
saying.
but when you can't afford, when you cannot afford it during those tough times, what's going to happen? You're not even going to have a car.
We're going to drive the old car.
Right, or not have a car. Because that's the financial situation.
You know that's
cities
not
and
true.
towns.
You know that's not true.
Absolutely.
You're talking about contracts
Tell
that were
those Central
negotiated
Falls
1, 2, or
employees.
3 years
Tell
before.
those Central Falls retirees that took a beheading, 50% of their pensions are gone. How much more do you think the taxpayers are going to be able to take living under those financial constraints, the legacy costs? Are you going to sit here today and say, you know what, if I was across the table from you, retiree health care, instead of getting a family plan, then maybe the only thing we're going to be able to afford is a single plan. Oh no, we can't do that. Just like when you said to me, you're not moving towards a defined contribution.
I mean, you've had now
those
50
are
years,
long-term
the
legacy
first 40
costs there, Bob.
So you're saying that nobody made these proposals in the past when they could even get away with it. See, this is the
I
whole
have,
problem with
and
the
you
mayor's
have
argument.
a lot of mayors.
This is the problem. Yeah, the mayor's argument. Like, well, this is going to change everything. When this is going to change nothing. The town manager of Barrington's making similar arguments. You said, well, you know, there were only 2 bad cases. Why? I think he used a cattle analogy. Why would we kill the whole herd if we only had 2? He said, we're not killing the whole herd. We're vaccinating to make sure this problem doesn't
Just
occur
in
anywhere
case
else.
you at home forgot I was here, my name's Tim White. This is Ted Nesi, and we're hosting the show.
This might be better than the debates we did last year.
I know. Look, we have to go to a break pretty soon. But Bob, you touched on it a little bit. So I want to look forward. In 2017, Governor Raimondo vetoed the bill, and he said, quote, I think that the classified ad is out. Real Democrat wanted for governor of Rhode Island. What do you see the governor doing if it gets through the Senate? What do you see the governor doing?
Well, as I said in my remarks earlier, we listened very carefully to what the governor said. We looked at the veto message, and we believe we've crafted the legislation accordingly, so it will pass muster. We'll find out when it gets to the governor's desk.
Have you talked to her administration about this?
We've been constantly talking to everybody in the State House about this. I mean, there were 2, but you want the frank political realities, we could have taken 2 paths. It was clearly an overwhelming vote in the House, and we had a very strong vote in the Senate last time. But, you know, I'm a long-term player in this. I didn't want to go a veto override route. We were willing to make the compromises necessary to get a bill that would pass muster with the governor. We want everyone on the same team on this. We get 60 votes. We had bipartisan support in the House. We had 60 votes in the House. It came out of
I think only one
Senate
Republican.
Labor, one Republican and one
Who was
Democrat against it.
The former teacher, right?
Jack Lyle,
Yes.
former from Lincoln, former teacher and principal. And if you listen to the floor debate, some of the Republican commentary was fairly favorable for voting no. This is not the end of the world. Now, they have an overall view that they don't generally like that labor is considered an equal at the table. And that's in the law in the state of Rhode Island. We sit down as equals. When I go representing a labor union and the mayor's representing the city, we sit at the table as equals. There are some of the mayor's Republican colleagues who don't like that. Mayor's not one of them. He's a straight shooter. He's a fair guy. We disagree on this issue, but if we negotiate, we're going to get a fair shake at the table. And he would never impose a contract.
Okay, I got to go to a break. 30 seconds, Mayor. I think I know your answer to this, but if you were governor, this is a bill you would veto.
Absolutely. And I know, just hearing from the governor, because I know the governor's going through 2 election cycles, let's call this bill what it is. It's going to be payback for special interest, because of the election cycles.
So you're predicting she's going to sign it?
I'm predicting either she's going to let it go or she might sign it. I don't think she'll veto it.
Well, I hope you're right.
We'll see. If I were a betting man, that's what I'd say, because she's got no more elections, at least for governor anymore. And this is where we've been working, and making sure through our channels she knows that the many mayors, many town administrators are opposed to this. Let's see whether she listens, because we're always willing to compromise, but you're not including our language that we'd like to have.
All right,
in that
I
bill.
am way overdue for a break. Our guests this week are Cranston Mayor Allan Fung and the Executive Director for NEA Rhode Island, Bob Walsh. When we come back, we're going to talk about another controversial bill at the General Assembly, and that's a firefighter overtime bill. Stay with us. You're watching Newsmakers. Welcome back to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. Joining me on the program to my left is Eyewitness News reporter Ted Nesi. Our guests this week, Cranston Mayor Allan Fung and the Executive Director of NEA Rhode Island, Bob Walsh. After a very sleepy first half, we're going to try and liven things up a little bit and talk about the firefighter overtime bill. It was another victory for unions at the General Assembly, a bill that requires any time above 42 hours a firefighter would get overtime. Mayor, we'll start with you. Your DPW workers, I assume, get overtime after 40 hours of work. Why shouldn't firefighters?
Well, I think I want to address that first part. It's another victory for you. And this is, again, another bill that hampers cities and towns with flexibility, in their flexibility in managing and organizing employees and how things should be, especially during difficult financial times. And this firefighters in particular don't work a normal 9-to-5 schedule like many employees in DPW or anywhere else. Police officers, don't work that similar type schedule. What's important is cities and towns need that flexibility during difficult times, and it should be their decision whether or not to move and organize as they see fit because of the financial challenges that they face.
And you're talking about if a town or city leader wanted to go to a different platoon which has different hours,
Correct.
all of that we've talked about in the past.
Well, let's face it, Ted and Tim, we've been through this a lot. It's very difficult, to understand how these schedules work. I can't sit here and explain it to the viewers because it's difficult to do. But most importantly, we've seen several communities move towards a schedule that's allowable under federal law. And this is one of the things I want to stress. It's allowable under federal law. You see many communities, not necessarily in the Northeast, but Midwest, out West, that have these longer work week schedules. It's just another opportunity to really go back on the taxpayers for those communities.
So,
and
Bob,
make
to the
change.
mayor's point there, and look, I know you're a teachers union representative,
But
but
on my firefighter hat for this question.
Okay, so I assume you stand in solidarity with them on this one. The federal government recognizes that firefighters can hit a threshold of 53 hours before that triggers overtime. Why should Rhode Island be any different?
Because the federal government also recognizes a minimum wage that's $4 or $5 an hour less than Rhode Island minimum wage. Rhode Island is better than the federal standard in a lot of areas. The federal government has taken a turn against workers at a macro level, but fortunately in the enlightened areas of this country in the Northeast and the upper Midwest,
but the Northeast also has
take care of
very
our
high
workers.
Firefighter overtime costs.
Well, you have a choice, and I don't think the mayors are in lockstep on this issue. I can explain briefly the scheduling. It's a 24/7
I've fallen
operation.
for this one before.
We all have.
The time it takes to respond to the fire, I can have the answer.
Yeah.
It's a 24/7 operation. 42 hours for overtime is not an unreasonable standard. If they choose to have a platoon, negotiate a platoon schedule that locks people in to longer hours in a particular week, you're going to pay overtime instead of having the additional staffing to fill out the more traditional 4-platoon schedule. And the simple math on that is sometimes it costs more to have more employees because you're paying pensions and benefits and everything on top of it. So sometimes overtime is less expensive. But it still means that our firefighters, the men and women who fight the fires and put their lives on the line every day, deserve to have, and the mayor agrees with this, deserve to have lives on their own. And those 3-platoon schedules are grueling. They're the you don't see your family for 2 or 3 days.
So our viewers understand, in Providence in 2015, they went to a 3-platoon system, and that meant they worked 56 hours. It was a regular work week. And anything above that triggered overtime. A 4-platoon system, generally speaking, is 42 hours. Got to ask you, Mayor, do you blame Mayor Jorge Elorza in Providence for putting cities and towns in this position to have some legislation in the General Assembly in the wake of the move he made in 2015? Is this his fault?
I'm not sure it's his fault. And look, Mayor Elorza and I don't see eye to eye on some of these issues, but any mayor that puts forward whatever type of implementation that they see fit based on the financial challenges that they encounter in their own city and town has to have that flexibility. And the move to a 3-platoon system, whether it was negotiated or not, the timing wise of that was very difficult because it was in the middle of a contract versus what you see happen normally, that this contract locks the first bill locks in. And it's usually at the end of a contract that you can make these type of decisions.
Fair to your fellow mayor, but it's a good question.
Look, and here's it. I am fair to Hoy when he's when we're on the same page, like we are against contract continuation. But ultimately, what happens is mayors, town administrators, town managers have to have that flexibility to get things done financially.
But when they go too far, that's when the legislature intervenes. If the East Providence School Committee and the Newark School Committee hadn't done what they've done, you probably wouldn't see continuing contract legislation. I'd be up there fighting for binding arbitration. And if the mayor of Providence hadn't done what he'd done on the platoon schedule, this legislation probably wouldn't be there.
But it's got to cut the other way too, Bob. Because for us, whenever any type of court decision goes against our way, we're trying to go
pension reform.
When it cuts the other way, whether it's a court decision or another mandate coming down from the marble halls at the General Assembly, what else do we have? We try to go up there and even get a bill introduced? Forget about it. We don't even have that opportunity. I think one of your
Republican colleagues to say, we lobby and you guys tweet. Get up there and lobby.
No. I'm up there all the time. You want to see me more than Bob?
I get that. I've been there at 10:45 tonight. I can back it on that. All right, we're going to talk about totally swing sideways and ask you about straight politics briefly. We don't have much time left. Mayor, when I said you were coming on, people said to me, you got to ask him, is he going to run for governor again in 2022? Where's your head at on that?
It's way too early for 2022. I'll take a look at it. I'm going to finish my last 2 years as Mayor Strong. We've got a lot of good projects that are still on the table. A lot more businesses coming to Garden City, Chapel View area. We'll see what happens in the future. I'm not ruling anything in or out.
What would you say, for Republicans who'd say, well, Mayor, we gave it to you twice, it didn't work out. What would you do different in another race from last time?
Well, certainly there's not going to be Raimondo Fung for a third time. But ultimately, I've got the experience and name recognition. I enjoy that chief executive's role that I've been privileged to have for 10 years now. I want to make changes. We'll see what happens. On the campaign side, a lot's going to depend on this guy in the unions to see, where they support.
I thought you were going to say whether I ran or not. I thought I was excited.
Well, everyone else is thrown in. Who knows, Bob?
That's president.
All right, Bob, I got a question for you. The new education commissioner Angelica Infante Green. Have you met her, and what's your impression?
I've spent a little bit of time with her, and we're going to have a longer meeting when she's officially on board next week. First impressions are good impressions. I think she's going to hit the ground running. We liked working with Ken Wagner. I think Angelica is probably going to be more of a whirlwind on issues. Ken
so the
was
pendulum
very
more
thoughtful.
Towards Deborah Gist in terms of
No,
just in terms of energy and
but in a good positive way. I think she's got some good ideas. I went to the introductory press conference. I liked what she had to say. I think she's going to have a special a very special focus on multi-language learners, as she's redefining English language learners to multi-language learners. I like that language. She's got a child who's autistic herself, so she's going to be focusing on students with differing needs and differing abilities, and I really liked what she had to say at that press conference. I mean, she's got her work cut out for her. We know where we are. We finally have a new starting line with the first year of the test results in. We're 25 years behind Massachusetts, but I want to catch up. I don't want to take 25 years to catch Massachusetts. I want to be able to do it as quickly as we can. We want to work with her on that. We're excited about it.
Bob, I have one. I asked the mayor about 2022. I got to ask you. Anything can happen in politics, but you're more likely to end up with a Democrat. Who do you like to succeed Governor Raimondo on the Democratic side?
Less than a minute left, Bob.
We've got so many good choices. Right? Yeah, that's right. See, now that's the get me in trouble question. I think that Jack Reed and Sheldon Whitehouse should decide which one comes back and becomes our governor. See, you didn't expect that answer, and it saved
that's so cute.
It's cute. No,
I think we've got great choices. If we lose a congressional seat, we've got 2 congressmen that would be great choices for governor. We've got 3 statewide Democratic officers who are allowed to run for governor in our general treasurer, our secretary of state, and our attorney general.
He's not picking friends right now.
See, all of them on the Democratic side.
I know. I mean,
see, you wonder why.
We talked before the show about an expansion draft so the Republicans could recruit some of our folks.
All right, Bob Walsh from NEARI Island and Cranston Mayor Allan Fung. Thank you for a lively program. It was a lot of fun. And we have to talk this little.
That's right, exactly.
If you missed any of it, it's online. We'll see you next week on Newsmakers.